Yes, another SP-404 MK2 update. Or I guess I should say MK2. I can't believe some of you guys are on my case about that. This one is packed and they're moving quick with these updates. I think this is the third one, or is it the fourth? I think it's the third. In any case, we're in a good place now. People are finally receiving their units despite the global shortage problem that we have for parts. So update 2.0 is here. Here's what's new about it and exactly what we're going to be focusing on in this video. They made what I think is a very important change to Chromatic Mode. They also added a step sequencer, which is definitely the biggest addition. They also just made the pattern workflow a bit more fluid, so there were a few changes made there. SP-404 reverse playback behavior, and they made some additions to DJ mode. We're going to go through all of this with hands-on examples, and if you're looking for something specific, check out the chapters linked in the description of this video if you'd rather just jump. Today's sponsor is DistroKid. There's a better and free way to make those Linktree pages that no one seems to be talking about. DistroKid offers something for this. It's called HyperFollow. It's a free feature and we'll be getting more into it later in this video. So let's start with Chromatic Mode. This is actually something that I pointed out before, so I'm really glad that they made this update. Before, you were able to play around and maybe resample with Chromatic Mode, but it wasn't accessible while you were actually recording a pattern. And now it is. So enter into pattern sequencer, gonna hit record, make sure that I'm in rehearsal mode. And from there, I'm gonna find love that one. So I'm just gonna add bass. So select bass, shift, chromatic mode. I could turn the gate on if I want. I like to leave it off for bass. So this is rehearsal mode if I want to record this in. Another thing that I don't think is new, but I just haven't stumbled on it or discovered it yet. So same note, shift, chromatic mode. From here, I'm able to change the quality of the scale that I'm using. So chromatic, Dorian, Phrygian, and as you can see here, it snaps to those notes. So chromatic, obviously, you have all of the notes available. This is major, minor, Dorian. And on top of that, you're actually able to jump like up or down the octave. So let's say I want to go up the octave. Let's change this around too. Let's go to a Dorian. Right. So this is obviously just really convenient, especially if you don't really have a hold on like what a major or minor scale is. Now it just tells you what it is and you could enter that into your patterns. Another new thing about Chromatic Mode is that there's 3 playing options to choose from, and you could toggle through those with the remain button. So there's just regular mono mode. There's legato mode, which I sort of think of as like a hammer-on. Let's do that again. It like leads into the next note. See what I mean? For particular playing instances, but it's there. And then there's poly mode, so if you want to play a chord. And then there's definitely the biggest part of the update, the addition of the step sequencer. Something tells me that they've been working on this one for a while because it's a completely new addition to the instrument. Let's dive in. So to actually get to the step sequencer, pattern select, record, I'm going to choose an empty pattern. So this is our usual page. This is what we always see. From there, if I hit remain, I could switch back and forth. So real time is sometimes the best way to go, depending on what you're doing. But step sequencer is right there. I'm going to turn this click down for a second because it's annoying. From here, I have BPM, so I could change that with this knob here. Length of the pattern, which is up to 64 bars, which is way more than enough, in my opinion. I'm going to bring that back down to 2 bars for now. And then there's shuffle. Also, just be aware that this shuffle is extreme. So if you go to like 5 or 6, it's like very shuffled. So I would recommend maybe going around, 3-ish. Depends what you're trying to do. So now that TREC is armed there, if I hit record again, suddenly there's a playhead here and we've entered into the step sequencer. I've only selected 2 bars, so I can move back and forth right here. It's very clear, so bar 1 is red and the second bar is purple. So we have our sequencer. How do we choose the notes that we actually program into the sequencer? So from there, hit subpad. I'm going to turn this volume back up. So we've got our click going, and from here, I'm holding down on this button. Make sure you hold down. Right, so these are just different banks. I could choose whichever sample I want. So I'm going to start with a kick. This is my favorite kick. Turn that gate off. Okay, and I'm just going to program it in. We have a kick. I'm going to turn this volume back down for a second. Another tricky little thing here, if I hit remain on this page, I'm going back and forth between hold step and trig. So I'm going to choose hold step for all of these because I want my samples to sound right to the end. Next, I'm going to add snare. Let's do that. There we go. We're at hi-hats, so now is a good time to take a look at substep, pitch, as well as velocity. I could change all of these on a per note basis, which we'll be doing with hi-hats. So I'm going to turn this back up. Let's go over to hi-hats. This one, I'm going to choose remain, hold step. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so from here, I want all of these upbeats to be accented. So all of the ands, and, and. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to velocity, maybe 110, and I'm gonna change all of these. I'm re-entering them in to make sure that it records this new velocity. So very subtle difference. In fact, here, I'm actually gonna drop these ones as well, the ones outside of the up notes, the upbeats. Very subtle. Okay, next thing I'll do, I'm gonna change the pitch for some of them. So in fact, let's go -2. I'm gonna bring this velocity back up again. We're just experimenting here, and I'm gonna change once again all of the upbeats. It's a bit trappy for me. I don't like that. But the option is there. We're gonna take a closer look at substep. I'm gonna add a different drum here. Let's see. Right, so let's maybe something on that last bar there. And I'm gonna mess around with this substep. Oh. Oh, so we have like a, make that louder. Okay. Kind of cool. Interesting. Right, and then if we want to go back to just regular downbeat note. So let's say you've recorded something and you want to make like a sweeping change on that entire part. You could do that with motion recording. This is another new addition. I'm gonna turn this back up. I'm currently on snare. I'm gonna hit roll, and right here, motion pops up. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like there's a melodic element to that snare. I'll do the same thing with kick. So kick is consistent. It's the same velocity throughout. Hold roll. I want all of my kicks to be louder. Nice. If you hold down shift, there's some additional options here. So BPM, shuffle, as well as start. Let's take a look at start actually. We're currently on the snare drum. Okay, I'm gonna choose, let's say like, I don't know, something very subtle, 5%. So now it's gonna be 5% behind the beat. So it almost sounds like it's lagging a bit. Oops. So let's re-enter all of these. It's almost unnoticeable. It's just to prove my point here, to demonstrate this, we're gonna go to, let's say 11%. So now you're gonna hear the difference. Sounds kind of cool. It's like a little bit behind. This is actually a great way to thicken up your snares. So that snare is a little bit behind the beat. We could actually double that with something that plays right down the middle. So let's do that. Not crazy about that snare, but we're just gonna go with it. Okay, I think my start point is a bit messed here. Make sure that's at 0. And from there, -2, let's try that. Way too low. We're gonna bring that up to 100. So I chose trig for this one, which I think kind of works because it's a very short sounding snare. And now we have a thicker snare. You are a human as well, so you of course have the option to just enter in your parts by hand to humanize them. That's of course another option. There's also this pitch/speed button right here, which gives you the ability to change the quality of the chord, much like in chromatic mode. So I'm just hitting enter and it chooses the mode that I want to use. So just for the sake of demonstrating this, I'm going to choose a one shot. That's the one, good. I'm going to enter in random notes. So let's go to -12. Okay, that's page 1. Don't like that. Okay. Nice. Let's add some effects to this. Got this sort of ambient thing going on there. If I want to solo that, just get rid of the kick entirely, I just hit hold. And now I could toggle back and forth between effects. If you hold down on delete, it also gives you some clearing options right here, just to clear that up. Using the pattern sequencer got a whole lot more fluid with this update as well. So as I mentioned before, being able to switch on and off from chromatic mode while recording. You're also able to switch back and forth between any style of recording without turning off your pattern. So I'm going to turn this back on, turn off all these effects. Sorry about that. From there, exit. So the pattern is currently playing. If I hit record, this is like the freehand playing mode. And if I hit, go back to here, if I hit shift and record, it brings me back into the pattern sequencer. So you could toggle back and forth very easily. SP-404 reverse playback. This one's very simple. The first thing you need to do is actually set it up properly. So shift, where's utility? 13, there it is. System, general, I'm gonna go down to reverse type, change that to 303. So make sure that 303 is selected there. And now you're able to reverse samples at any point during playback. So this is one of my tracks. I'm just gonna play it. And if I want to reverse it, here we go. I kind of like it better in reverse. Haven't really had the time to get creative with this one, but can't wait to see what other people come up with this specific feature. addition to the beloved DJ mode pattern play. If you're looking for DJ mode basics, here's a video on that. So firstly, hit D and J to enter into DJ mode. I'm gonna select a track here, whatever. As you probably already know, you're able to queue up 2 tracks in DJ mode. You could fade back and forth in between each of them, and you could add effects over top of that as well. And now there's room for a 3rd internal pattern over top of what's going on over here as well. The first thing that came to mind for me is like some sort of dialogue over top of a track that's already playing. This is the sort of thing that you hear a lot in like hip hop and house music, electronic music in general. And so that's exactly what I've loaded up into a pattern. Hit pattern select while you're in DJ mode and then select the pattern that you want. So in this case, I know it's pattern 4 for me. Back to pattern select, and now you have a full new cue right here. You can see that these controls look the exact same. They're identical to the ones on this page as well, but you just have 1 track. So because this is dialogue over a track, the tempo doesn't really matter. Let's give this a whirl. I'm gonna just play. 1, 2, 1, 2, let's go.
It is difficult to be judged, to be reviewed. As a teenager, I remember one casting director who later became a producer. I was in the middle of doing a reading for her, and she stopped me and she said, "Listen, you are not pretty enough to be an actress. Find something else that you want to do."
You could obviously select any pattern that you want over your DJ set. I don't see it being that useful though, considering that usually DJs play like fully mastered tracks that might not have that much room left in them. But in any case, if you see like an opportunity here to work this into your workflow, the option is there. I'm gonna stick to my pattern dialogues because I thought that sounded pretty dope. And now that we're here talking about SP-404 MK2 DJ mode, there's something I have to clear up from a previous video, the last DJ mode video that I did. As you can see, there's a lot of things happening in a very small amount of space here. So I'll just hit play. Let's say there's a track queued up here and it's ready to play, but I don't want it to sound until this track is done, right? So let's say I'm adding effects here. Okay, so now you can see that this knob here is at max, right? So it doesn't snap to that max point. I have to go back down, catch the fader at 0, and then I can bring that track up. I initially got frustrated and thought that my knobs were just locking. As you can see here, it's not moving, but this is actually very clever of them. This is by design because they realize that you'd be jumping back and forth between pages, you know, adding effects and whatever. And if they didn't add this sort of latch on feature, the volume of these 2 tracks would be jumping all over the place, and with your effects as well. This is something I just wanted to clear up, and sorry if I confused anyone about that with my last DJ mode video. And now let's talk about DistroKid and HyperFollow. There's a better and free way to make those Linktree pages that no one really seems to be talking about. It's kind of a curveball that DistroKid is doing this for free in addition to being a music distribution platform. You could put together a totally centralized link hub at no extra charge with a lot of the same features as paid tiers for other platforms. And I'll show you mine, but first, I'm one of DistroKid's most active creators, and so they gave me this special sign up link for you guys to get a discount if you're not a member already. So go to HyperFollow and reserve your username. From there, you can fill out all your info. As a side note, other platforms charge you specifically for ad tracking. HyperFollow offers that for free. And here's my final result. So I've embedded my latest YouTube video, my latest single, social links, other important links that I'd like to lead people to. By the way, there's no extra charge for claiming as many HyperFollow pages as you'd like. It's all there, one of many reasons to go with DistroKid. Well, that's what I have for you today. I hope that you are as excited as I am about the update. Thank you guys so much for being here and for watching. If you're interested in any of the gear that I'm using in this video, there are Perfect Circuit affiliate links for those in the description of this video. If you end up purchasing your equipment using those links, I get a credit at no extra charge to you. You know the drill, like, subscribe, comment, questions. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm pretty good at getting back to you guys. As always, it's been great, and I hope to see you guys very soon.